Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free French ebook before it's gone.
Do you know how to talk about where you live and work in French? You'll learn how in just a moment. Hi, my name is Fanny and this is 3-Step French by FrenchPod101.com. In this lesson, you'll learn how to talk about where you live and work through a quick and simple conversation. Let's look at the dialogue. As you listen, pay attention to how they ask about the topic and how the other person responds. Où habites-tu exactement à Paris? Je vis chez mon arrière-grand-mère, dans une vieille maison près de Montparnasse. Et ton travail, c'est loin? Je prends le train jusqu'au laboratoire pharmaceutique dans le sud de la ville. Tu aimes ton quartier? Oui, il est calme, verdoyant et tout le monde se connaît. Let's hear it with the English translation. Où habites-tu exactement à Paris? Where do you live exactly in Paris? Pay attention to the next sentence. It follows the key speaking pattern you'll learn later in this lesson. Je vis chez mon arrière-grand-mère, dans une vieille maison près de Montparnasse. I live with my great-grandmother in a whole house near Montparnasse. Et ton travail, c'est loin? And your job, is it far? Je prends le train jusqu'au laboratoire pharmaceutique dans le sud de la ville. I take the train to the pharmaceutical laboratory in the south of the city. Tu aimes ton quartier? Do you like your neighborhood? Oui, il est calme, verdoyant et tout le monde se connaît. Yes, it's calm, green, and everyone knows each other. Let's look at the sentence pattern. Do you remember how the character said, I live with my great-grandmother in a whole house near Montparnasse? Je vis chez mon arrière-grand-mère dans une vieille maison près de Montparnasse. Je vis chez mon arrière-grand-mère dans une vieille maison près de Montparnasse. This sentence follows the pattern here. Chez plus person or stress pronoun, meaning at someone's place. In French, chez is used to say where someone lives or is staying, usually with a person. It's always followed by a person's name or a stressed pronoun or a noun. Here's how the line from the dialogue uses the pattern. Je vis chez mon arrière-grand-mère dans une vieille maison près de Montparnasse. I live with my great-grandmother in a whole house near Montparnasse. Here's how the line works with the pattern. Je vis, meaning I live, chez, meaning at the home of, mon arrière-grand-mère, my great-grandmother. So this part of the sentence means I live with my great-grandmother. The second half gives more detail. Dans une vieille maison, in a whole house, près de Montparnasse, near Montparnasse. All together, je vis chez mon arrière-grand-mère dans une vieille maison près de Montparnasse. I live with my great-grandmother in a whole house near Montparnasse. Let's keep going and introduce another pattern that appears in this dialogue. Here's another common way to talk about where someone lives or works. A plus city, place, building, meaning in or at location. We hear this in the line Où habites-tu exactement à Paris? Where do you live exactly in Paris? This structure is used for general places, cities, neighborhoods, or buildings. In this example, où, meaning where, habites-tu, meaning do you live, exactement, meaning exactly, à Paris, meaning in Paris. So if you're telling someone where you live or work in a city, à is the word to use. Now you know how to talk about where someone lives and works in French, and how to say exactly where that is. Let's talk about jusqu'à, a useful preposition in French that means up to or as far as a certain destination. You'll hear it used in this sentence. Je prends le train jusqu'au laboratoire pharmaceutique dans le sud de la ville. I take the train to the pharmaceutical laboratory in the south of the city. Let's break it down. Je prends le train. I take the train. Jusqu'à becomes jusqu'au. A contraction of à and le, meaning to or up to the. Laboratoire pharmaceutique. Pharmaceutical laboratory. Dans le sud de la ville, in the south of the city. So the structure jusqu'à plus place tells us the final point of a journey. You'll often hear it in direction or when talking about commuting. This is a very natural way to describe where you go for work, errands, or travel in French. Now, let's look at some speaking examples. Elle reste chez sa sœur pendant une semaine. She's staying at her sister's place for a week. Can you see how the pattern applies here? Let's break it down. Elle, the subject pronoun meaning she. Reste, the present tense of rester meaning is staying. Chez sa sœur. Using the structure chez plus person, meaning at her sister's place. Pendant une semaine, meaning for a week. So altogether, she's staying at her sister's place for a week. This follows the same pattern we just learned. Chez is followed by a person to indicate whose place you're talking about. Here's another example. Nous allons chez Pierre pour le dîner. We're going to Pierre's for dinner. Nous allons chez Pierre pour le dîner. We're going to Pierre's for dinner. Let's try one more. Je travaille à Marseille depuis janvier. I've been working in Marseille since January. Je travaille à Marseille depuis janvier. I've been working in Marseille since January. Another one. Il étudie à la bibliothèque tous les après-midi. He studies at the library every afternoon. Il étudie à la bibliothèque tous les après-midi. He studies at the library every afternoon. One last example. On marche jusqu'à la gare tous les jours. We walk to the train station every day. On marche jusqu'à la gare tous les jours. We walk to the train station every day. Now you know how to talk about where you live and work in French. And you can move on to the practice. Au revoir!